Hey guys, what's going on? It's Mike with FormAWin here to help you guys get your first engineering job. Today we have Simon. He's a killer. He's a savage. He just got his next internship. Super excited to have him. Let's get started.
Let's
Awesome,
go.
Simon. Thank you so much for joining in. Really appreciate you, man. How's your day going?
Pretty good, pretty good. I'm feeling great.
Awesome, man. So listen, let's go on ahead and get into it. Then for everyone watching, make sure you have a pen, piece of paper, right? This is really for everyone that's going from student to intern and just learning to develop or find that and just get their first opportunity, right? So why don't you go ahead and tell us about your background?
I'm a mechanical engineering student. I go to UF. I'm a third year, I'm a junior. And yeah, so I had a co-op last fall. And then I have a internship coming up this summer. So I've been doing pretty well kind of professionally recently. And so yeah.
Awesome, man. That's great. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm super happy for you because I know I see you on LinkedIn posting all the time. So it's definitely good to build your personal brand. Why don't
Yeah.
we just kind of get into it? So, where was your first internship?
So my first internship was at a company called Arthrex. They're a medical device company down in Naples, Florida. I kind of knew I wanted to get into that industry through the clubs that I'm in at school. And so when the opportunity arose, it was just like really great. And just like the stars aligning really.
That's awesome, man. So what led to you kind of getting that? What was it more so networking or just being in the right place at the right time?
So I met them at the career fair last spring. It was, which would have been in January, and we spoke and we had a good conversation. But I didn't really hear back from them until like March. Really, I applied online, and so I would say maybe they liked my experience. I'm a part of a design team here at UF, which is kind of in like the similar vein of working on like products that are interacting with the human body. And so I think they might have liked that experience, and that led to me getting an interview and in the end getting the offer.
Awesome. That's great, man. So when was the career fair?
So it was in January.
January, and then you heard back from them in March, right?
Yeah, I got the interview in March, but I didn't really even get hired until April.
Got it. Okay. So now, did they remember you specifically?
No, I think the person that I spoke to what ended up not being anyone that I ended up working with,
Okay.
but I did have a good enough relationship with the recruiter to where I actually had an interview for two different jobs. The first one didn't go great and I didn't get the offer, but she ended up reaching out to me and offering me an interview for a different position, and that one
Awesome.
went a little bit better.
Cool. So what do you think is like a key or just, maybe a tip that you have for kind of building relationships, right? Because that's huge that you were able to develop that. So what would you say to that?
I would say people like talking to people that are confident. I would say these recruiters, they talk to a lot of people. They kind of understand how you're feeling in the moment. And it's really easy to tell when you're uncomfortable or you're unsure yourself. And there's nothing wrong with being nervous. I was definitely really nervous. It was like a big opportunity for me. But just being confident in who you are and just being yourself is something that leads people to remembering you, remembering that interaction. I like to always try to throw a couple jokes in there, hopefully make them laugh, see if they'll remember me that way. But yeah.
Awesome, man. So, I mean, what it sounds like, and then for everybody watching, right, you were kind of just yourself. Like you went in with intent, but all the things that you kind of did leading up to that point, freshman year, sophomore year, I mean, your entire life led to you to that point that had that confidence, had all the stuff going for you, all the projects you worked on, you intentionally tried your best at them, right? And that kind of just led to you being able to talk about it naturally without it being fake or trying or weird, right? And then you were able to just go and be a good person. So I mean that's
Yeah.
huge, right? For everybody watching, just take that to heart with whatever you're doing, right? Make sure you're active in it, make sure you're present, you're in the moment, but you're also just making sure you're getting the most out of it. So that's awesome. I love that. Let's kind of connect it full circle now, maybe. So that was kind of the first internship, right? So where are we at now?
Yeah, so after that, so I mean, my freshman year, I applied to a lot of internships. I didn't even get a single interview. And then last year, my sophomore year, I got a handful of interviews, maybe like one or two, I think, and I ended up lucking out and getting the one. And so this year I found it, once you kind of have that work experience, people want to talk to you more. Like at the career fair, people are kind of more. I guess they trust you more.
Hmm.
So with the internship that I got this summer, it was actually really crazy. I spoke to them at the career fair, and then afterwards I went online to apply, and I didn't find the position that they were talking about, so I never even ended up applying. But they kept my resume, and the recruiter called me like a week later, and she was like, "Hey, you spoke to us at the career fair, and we thought we had a really good conversation, and we'd love to have an interview." And so that was like a super cool experience, where they
Yeah.
they like remembered the interaction without even me applying. And so yeah.
That's awesome. And that's huge. That's almost everyone's dream, right? Because you go to
Yeah.
those career fairs and you want them to reach out to you. So I mean that's great. So
Yeah.
let's kind of repeat that question to in the moment. What's
Hmm.
what led to you being remembered? What do you think?
Yeah. Uh-huh. I would say just in the conversation we had, they kind of were really interested in the previous internship I had, because the companies they don't exactly do the same thing, but they're in the same industry and they have a lot of similarities. So I kind of had a lot of industry knowledge already about things that they work on there. And so we were able to connect a little bit about like kind of certain like niche things. um, and just the fact, I feel like summer internships are great, and it's but the fact that it was a co-op and I was there for 6 months, I was kind of able to learn double the amount that I would have been able to learn at an internship, because instead of being 12 weeks, it was 24 weeks. And so I got to learn a lot, and I got to kind of show that to them in the conversation that we had.
Definitely. That's great. So, I mean, like for everybody watching, right? I mean, internship experience is definitely critical, but kind of what we were saying where, everything that he did and everything that you do to kind of get from point A to point B and just being intentful with everything that's behind it, right? With whatever projects you have, whatever experience you have, if it's not an internship, it is what it is. It's okay, but still have that confidence that, you worked hard on it, you tried your best. And if not, then maybe you need to find a new project and work a little harder this time. And then that way, once you go and you go talk to people, you're able to network at a little bit of a different perspective than someone who's just kind of okay, I need an internship, right? Like, like a hungry dog or something, which is totally cool. But, the next thing I got for you is, I mean, kind of talk a little bit about struggles and different things you had to overcome, maybe, but, what are some of the biggest struggles that you had to overcome getting to this point to get some internships and, be on your feet where you are now?
Yeah, so it was kind of like a cool moment when I was like updating my resume after my last internship. I kind of looked at it and I was like, wow, my resume was not as like stacked as a lot of people that I see at my college. I know a lot of people with like a ton of work experience through internships and through projects, and I was like, so I think a lot I struggled with it, the fact that I just didn't really have a lot of relevant experience to people. And so I guess to a certain degree I wasn't a super attractive candidate for a while. And so like my freshman year when I was applying, I really didn't have much of anything. I wasn't on any design teams, I wasn't on any group projects. And so I kind of just had like work experience I had when I worked at a restaurant and stuff like that. And so my sophomore year, I kind of messaged a lot of upperclassmen that I knew. I was like, I need to kind of bolster my resume if I want a chance at ever like standing out. And so I ended up joining the design team. It was kind of a new one, and so I was able to get a leadership role pretty quickly. And so with that, I was a little bit more well prepared to stand out from hundreds of well qualified students that are as smart or smarter than me at this school, that we're all going for the same internships. And so just kind of trying to stand out through work experience and just through personality was a big struggle that I was able to overcome.
That's awesome. And there's a book. I'm pretty sure the name has something to do with Blue Ocean. I haven't read it yet, but I really need to. I've heard a lot of people talk about it. And what
Yeah.
you did there, you found a great opportunity that led to you kind of being able to just get a lot out of it, like with the leadership experience. So
Mhm.
Again, same thing with everyone watching. You need to identify where that is, but just go full force at it. Because you did, then you got the confidence and you were able to go and be like, yeah, I did all this. And that's awesome, man. So, what about kind of getting into interviews, right? Because we've talked a lot about confidence, we talked a lot about building yourself up to get there, and that's probably what led you to being a good interviewer. But what else would you have to say about how to prep for interviews, how you prep for interviews, anything on that topic?
Yeah, I think companies really want you to understand the culture and to align with the culture. So I would do your research. Like for example, I had a few friends that were actually interning where I did last year. And so before my interview, I called them. I was like, what's something that they'd like to hear? What's something that they value? And you don't even need that. You could look on LinkedIn, or you could even look online on their website. They have their mission statement. They make it very clear what's important to them. So finding what's important to these companies and finding how you align with it is really important, I would say. And then as well as just like researching, maybe like if you're interviewing for a certain position in some department, finding out what that department does. Don't go in blind. If if they ask you something like, hey, if you were to work with this, and you kind of don't give at least a somewhat adequate response, they kind of get turned off a little bit. They know that you didn't really do your research. So I would
Hmm.
say doing your research on the company's values as well as just what it is your role would be is very important for the interview.
Yeah, definitely. It's, I mean, like that's huge. Just, with some of our clients and then for everybody watching, right? Like we do interview reviews. So on a few of them, when you're first starting out, you're kind of getting acquainted with this and, you don't know. And it is what it is. And you go and they ask you, okay, well, what do you know about the company? Then I don't know anything. Uh, like you don't want to be in that position, right? So like definitely having that little bit of prep work beforehand is huge, 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 huge. So thank you for sharing that, man. So now let's kind of transition to some of your future goals. What's on the horizon for
Yeah, so as far as the immediate future, I hope I can learn a lot at just at this next internship that I'm going to be at. I hope that I can get a lot of experience. The interview, or sorry, the internship that I did last year was not exactly in the role that I want to do when I graduate. I kind of want to work in something more design focused, and this upcoming internship is kind of in that vein. And so I'm hoping that I'm able to learn a lot and just gain a lot of knowledge on that kind of that position and what would be required of me. And in the future, I delayed my graduation a little bit because I took a co-op, so I missed a semester. Um, and so yeah, just graduating strong, making sure I stay good with all my classes, and just building a professional network so that once I do graduate, I'm able to hopefully
set
stick
yourself up
stick
for
out in
success?
the job market, and hopefully get a job pretty quickly.
Yeah, man, I'm sure you will. You're a savage. I love it. And I got one last question for you here. For everybody watching, what's a tip to find a job easily, quickly, or rather an internship? What's one way if you were just starting from scratch right now? What's the easy, fast way for you to go find one?
I would say look around your school, look at what opportunities there are. At, like for example, at my school, there's a lot of design teams, and then let's say if you join the Rocket Club, you should apply to some internships related to aerospace and rockets and stuff. If you join the Rocket Club and then you go apply to some internship about, I don't know, gasoline or whatever, it's not to say that you won't get the job, but you know, getting the experience in the industry that you want to work in is kind of like the fast track way to do it. And so if you want to work with rockets, join Rocket Club. If you want to work with cars, join the F1 team. Kind of try to gain experience in whatever it is you want to do, and then go out and look for jobs in that industry.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you took a lot out of it. Definitely rewatch it again, kind of rewrite some things that you're doing currently to find an internship, and then revisit this. Figure out what's that one gap, what's that one thing you need to do to get from point A to point B. Do it. Change your life forever. Simon, thank you so much, everybody watching. See you guys later. Have a good one. Bye, guys.